Hello, everyone out there in must need some Robitussin land. It is the People's Choice Don Rodriguez coming through, fighting it like MJ. Yet the big guy KG over here with me, Nubian Sumo, is on special assignment. What is up, KG?
What is happening, People's Choice? Dealing with, as usual, some technical difficulties, but I'm hearing voice, maybe not in face.
Yeah, we're gonna have to just get you a whole new building. Just put you in a whole new place.
It's the part about it. It's only one laptop that acts up like this, and it's the laptop with the best camera quality.
Yep. See, that's that witness protection right there. It's rough out here in these streets. If you went out there, trying to sell illegal copies of, go-go, then, you wouldn't be in that witness protection program.
There is no such thing as an illegal copy of go-go.
Yeah, it is. Because when you legally trying to sell it as, something that's a person or a place or a thing, yeah, that doesn't work.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something. Before you go to bed, before your head hit the pillow tonight,
for
you to go listen to Let It Ride Socket Beat. It's 9 minutes of pure crankage.
Oh, please. Oh, my goodness. Does it sound like the other 9 minutes, you know what I'm saying, the Chuck Browns and all that stuff? Is it all the same thing?
No, it's 9 minutes of one song. Now, see, I can give you 20 minutes of Chuck Brown, and it's like 8 different songs.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta understand, man. You gotta understand it's a little bit more to it.
Now, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do it. It's rough out here in these streets. I mean, Percolator's about 45 minutes of my life right there. So, if I play Percolator before I go to bed, there's not too much time for go-go.
Yeah, you'll never sleep. you start having reminiscence of being at Hammerjacks. So,
what you know about that? You went down to Hammers back in the day?
Nah, man, I know about. I was too young to get in there. If you remember the movie Serial Mom,
yeah,
that was the first time I heard about Hammerjacks, and then later on, somebody said that's where Cisco used to dance at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if that's right or not, but okay, we'll go with it.
He did some dancing at Hammers, but he did some singing at the Fudgery at the Inner Harbor.
Yep.
I seen him quite a few times. He's out there making that little fudge, singing his little heart away. It was like, oh, look at these young gentlemen. Oh, I was young back then too. But look at them over here just singing up, making some chocolate. Too bad I don't want any. But they were singing though. And then down the road, he ended up coming into my store up in Ricerstown. It was chill. It was short. This is when Drew Hill was on the super hiatus. I helped him out. He was cool. I ain't mark out nothing like that. We just had a good, cool little conversation. Like, hey, man, Unleash the Dragon was a banger. I just wanted to let you know.
It was.
Like, thank you. Like, yeah, we was rocking the hell out of that down in Atlanta. So if you saw a safari van in red going up and down 85 playing Unleash the Dragon and then running up pretty much every damn version of Peachtree Road. Yeah, that was me and my crew going ham on that CD back in the day. That and Busta Rhymes' Extinction Level event. We was putting that work in that one.
The thong song stayed on radio rotation for what, 10 years?
Yeah, man. Yep, and it wasn't even us that was keeping it on.
Nah. Everybody, they had to retire. I remember they had to retire because it was number one on 106 and Park for so long. They had to retire the song.
Yep.
That was the first song to get retired in 106 and Park history.
Mm-hmm. Half of it was for the song. The other half was for the people in the music video.
Yeah. And great memory. Opening night, ESPN Zone, was that April 2000?
Mm-hmm.
Biz Markie was the DJ.
Yep.
Georgetown cheerleaders. NFL tonight. Thong song came on. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
That was a great time, man. Great time. You know what was even better than all that? The daggone candy table. There's a lot of good Raisinets on that table. You want to know how I know? Because I carried about 10 pounds of it with me down to Atlanta on an airplane. I still don't understand how the hell I got through TSA with a 10-pound trash bag full of Raisinets.
It happens.
And 3 wrestling belts. I know they had to be like so confused. It's like, first of all, like, what the hell is this? And they're like, it's Raisinets. And then the next bag, the ESPN Zone bag, is going through with the 3 replica belts. Don't know how the hell I made it through TSA. They're like, this is the worst wrestler ever. They paid him in Raisinets. Mm-hmm. What's up, Jack? We got the gentleman Jack out there representing into the passenger seat. Make sure you check that out. It was air on Wednesdays, right?
Yep, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. live on Facebook.
If you want to be on the passenger seat and you want to be interviewed by the gentleman Jack, he is a true gentleman. He'll make sure he's nice to you, allegedly. But, you know, you can piss him off too and see, you know, if you want to get that smoke. But if you want to be interviewed by the gentleman Jack and the Midnight Rider for Into the Show, you can definitely hit us up. What's the website, KG?
That is,
or the email.
Email is sidelinejunkies247@gmail.com. Sidelinejunkies247@gmail.com. And when you talk about in the passenger seat, you got to do it right. It's in the passenger seat with Jack Carr, his backseat Midnight Rider. There it is.
Hey, that's a lot. Okay. You know, the Halls and the Robitussin, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's not all workings with the voice right now to be able to get all that out in one breath. So I appreciate you doing that. Trying to get it in between breaths here. Work with me, Petey. Work with me. Grab my coat and follow me along or whatever it is. You know how we do it. But either way, make sure you check out Jack and the Midnight Rider on Wednesdays. You can always, you know, reply to one of our posts and say, hey, I want to be on the show. Here's the thing. We want everybody on the show. So you don't have to be an aficionado. You don't have to be, somebody that's making millions. You could just be, you know, hey, I'm putting that work in on a hard court at the park. But I want to talk about some sports. Everybody's got a story, and we love to hear from you. So make sure you reach out to us. We love to talk to you. Jack and the Midnight Rider would love to interview you and find out about what makes you tick. Speaking of ticking, I guess that's a good segue. We're coming to you just after an NXT Premium Live event, NXT Deadline. KG, you got to put the number 1 in for the, was it for the L?
For number 1?
Yeah, remember how they spell it weird? You know, dead.
Oh, they did. Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, one job.
You're right.
One job. But you're supposed to be like, well, you know, autocorrect will go ahead and correct it.
Corrected it.
The I. The I was, there you go. It was L, the number 1.
Oh, L. I pay attention, but I didn't pay attention.
We so fancy, we can fix stuff in real time, ladies and gentlemen. But we're coming to you on the heels of NXT Deadline. I will tell you, just full transparency, that you know, I get those passes when I'm feeling under the weather. But this is the first premium live event for NXT I've watched in quite some time.
Agreed.
I was, you know, warming back up to it. You know, I'm still a little sour from the cartoon era with all the bright colors and all that crap where they lost the luster and the magic of NXT. So I wasn't trying to get invested into storylines or characters or anything. But this one started calling to me. Jada Parker and Lola Vice, you know, started to call to me. I'm already a fan of Obafemi, but this Iron Survivor Challenge, something I never watched before. So I said, well, even though it's been out for a while, I just kept missing it. So I wanted to go ahead and take a look at that and check it out. And then, Trick Williams, just curious to see, is where the landscape is going, because as we get closer and closer to Netflix time, some people may be moving. So I was curious, is Trick getting called up? Is he going to be, where he is? It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. So KG, just cutting straight to the chase. I mentioned him already. My guy, I want to say he's Jabari from Wakanda, but Obafemi is your Iron Survivor and the number one contender for the NXT Men's World Heavyweight Championship. What's your thoughts on that, especially since he got a double pin to win that match? Oh, is it technical difficulties getting you again, KG?
Oh, shoot. Nope, I got defeated by the mute button. I am so sorry.
Hey, man, we've all been there.
I was telling Dario, I said, I'm thinking that this is going to be down to the wire. But I told him, I said they're pushing what God, I can't even pronounce his name now. I was just writing the tip of my tongue, but saying it so I didn't mess it up. Help me out.
Talking about Obafemi?
Obafemi. I said he's going to be pushed, and rightfully so. I mean, the cat's a physical specimen, number one. And putting him up against Trick Williams, ooh.
It's going to be black on black crime. Tragedy. Yeah. Worthwhile.
I think Trick loses the NXT championship, but moves up. But I like where they're going with this, because this could be really, really good. This could be something. I'm talking Trick Williams can go on a run like Keith Lee, NXT wise, and then when he steps up, they don't make the same mistakes they made the last time, type thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now I'm gonna say, technically, I'm thinking the opposite. I'm hoping for the opposite. I wouldn't mind if Trick wins and Obafemi gets pulled up.
Wow. You asking for a lot there, but how do you they messed up everything with Lash Legend and Trick Williams by calling her up. I think everything got messed up there.
Well, she's not officially called up. She's just like call up adjacent. Like she's on the short list, the quick bubble. But
she performed at War Games.
Oh yeah, but I think that Obafemi could go into a program. I know it's going to sound crazy, maybe pushing a little too fast, but I think he could go into a quick program with a Cody or Roman.
You asking for a lot, but I like it.
I know, like I said, it's pretty aggressive, but just the way he's carrying himself and they're booking him. If they don't Keith Leify it, if they bring Obafemi in with his intro and everything else, they just smooth transition in, coming into Netflix or the Royal Rumble or something else like that. Actually probably the Royal Rumble. That could do something for him. That could set him up. And then, when that feud happens, now we got a new contender because they're running out of people to put in front of Cody without, making it, unbelievable. Like, hey, Cody's got to lose at some point. You start putting a clock on Cody. But
have to put
some new folks in front, then you got a shot.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Why do you have to put a clock on Cody? Because Roman didn't have a clock. And I'm seeing a lot of the fan base, speaking of Cody, not to change the subject, seeing a lot of the fan base turn on Cody, and I really don't care for it too much.
Well, he did the same for John Cena. But the problem that we have with Cody versus Roman had more depth to the story. We had the Usos. We had we taking over, we the ones. Then we had Solo come in. Then now we have, the breakup with The Rock and all the other stuff and two bloodlines and stuff like that. Excuse me. Cody had the story. We finished the story. What's next?
Okay, we finished the story, but we can't just ride this wave. We can't. Basically, Cody finishing the story is the equivalent of giving Dusty his run, because Dusty never got his own run in WWF.
Right. But you're saying exactly it. Dusty's run, Dusty's story. Cody's living vicariously into that. What's the next story?
I also believe that even though Cody's living vicariously through that, he's doing a great service to himself, being the champion. He is he hasn't defended the title. Nobody said anything when Roman wasn't defending the title. So why y'all got so much to say now?
I'm cool with, where he is a title defense. No issues there. Because we knew they were going to protect it. It makes sense to protect it. That's 2 years worth of buildup. You're not going to just transitional champion Cody. But this KO thing is good, but it's only going to go but so far. Because Randy comes back, then Randy's got to deal with KO. So technically you got two people in play for one person. Now, if we interject the Wyatts and put them against Cody, maybe we got some more depth. I mean, they gave Chad Gable this past week, but Cody beat Gable. And Gable's, the head of Alpha Academy. So that win, like, okay, well, can't use Gable anymore.
That's
Where's the story?
So basically, you saying they got to figure out what to do with Cody, but you asked the question, and said question that you asked was pretty goddamn good. I'll say that. Is Cody better chasing? And I'm like, well, if he's better chasing, it's like people lost interest in that too.
But it always doesn't have to be the heavyweight championship.
But you gave him that. You didn't give him the European. You didn't give him the Intercontinental. You didn't give him the US. You didn't give him nothing like that. You put him automatically in the chase for the heavyweight title. So him being in the chase for that means a lot. That means a lot, man. You can't go down, and that's what I never understood. Especially when you had two-man power trip and you had Triple H as the heavyweight champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin as the Intercontinental champion. I'm like, Stone Cold's not an Intercontinental person. I think that's around the time that the lore of what the belts meant went out the window.
Right.
So there's that. But yeah.
I want Cody to get to the point to where John Cena is. The championship doesn't matter.
Okay.
Cena could go to NXT, make an impression, make an impact. Awesome. He can go to Raw, he can go to SmackDown. Hell, he can go over to TNA. Why not? But he doesn't have to be a champion. It's not necessary. Cody still has a lot more time, before we get to retirement and stuff like that. But, if he loses and it makes sense, then he can also free roam. Especially since, we've got some opportunities for people to switch around pre Netflix. We've got some carte blanche there. The loss just has to make sense. And I don't think because see, this Kevin Owens thing isn't even about championships. It's just beef. So if we're not you know, and then we're getting close to WrestleMania season, focusing on, you know, the championship, then we're losing out on an opportunity as well. So it's like Cody's kind of in limbo. And with Seth and CM Punk having, you know, their tiff now, that takes those two out for heavyweight names. What do we do with Cody?
Let him go on a run like Roman. Everybody else has got to they got to shut their mouth about it.
Yeah. Or you give him Obafemi.
I think they'll put on a good show. I think that'll be really good, but you in good conscience, are you going to have Obafemi beat Cody? First matchup, he beats Cody.
I mean, I would draw it up. I mean, I would have, you know, some great promos and things like that. And, you know, maybe with the help of Kevin Owens. Obafemi doesn't want the help, but it, you know, KO interferes. What is he going to do? Not pin him? So he becomes champion. But again, that gives Cody something to go off of and to go towards.
Well,
excuse me. But, you know, like I said, that's just a thought. That's just an idea. But then you have your thought and your idea. You kind of alluded to it, to where Trick Williams has beat Rich Holland and retained as champion. So do you think Trick will be able to transition well up to the main roster?
Yes.
Without Booker T in his intro?
I think he'll. I don't know. I mean, yes. I don't think you got anything Booker T-ish to take with him, but I just think this is yeah. Give me Trick Williams on the main roster. This right here, he's white hot, and I say that in all seriousness. The cat white hot. You're not going to take anything from him by moving him up, but you got to let him be who he is.
I said my only worry, because for me, the best part of Trick Williams is the intro. And the best part of the intro is Booker T. And with Pat McAfee coming back, Booker's not getting called up. So where do we go?
Well, you know, you also got Jesse the Body Ventura coming back.
Yeah. Saturday night's main event, Jesse with a hot mic. I guess they figure at this point, we've given a hot mic to the Ultimate Warrior. We've given a hot mic to CM Punk. The last of the Mohicans is Jesse. Might as well just let him go ahead and, you know, it's good for TV. Let's make the money.
I hope it's a long-term thing and it's not like a one-off or a couple of shows. I hope it's long-term. But imagine him, Pat McAfee, and Michael Cole sitting at the table together. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Jesse Ventura, but I got beef with him.
Why?
I told you why. He told me to have a wrestler in the White House in 2008, and he didn't run for president.
We've already talked about that. Yeah, technically he did. You know, we did.
Yeah, technically we did.
We had a sports entertainer.
Yeah, we didn't have a wrestler.
Right, we had a sports entertainer. Well, we're about to have a sports entertainer twice, technically.
I asked my cousin's wife at the time. She's like, "You really vote for him?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Do you see what he's doing in Minnesota? You damn right I vote for him."
So that's two-time sports entertainer, or two-time president. That was a sports entertainer, and a movie star, and Reagan. Any others? I think those are the only two that had some celebrity in it. Right? Everybody else just straight politician.
Yep. They made a career out of politics.
Yeah. So, you know, if nothing else, we got a little bit of spice in our presidential lineage. Speaking of, what's your thoughts on Ava Raine She's been NXT GM for what, maybe 3-4 years? 3 years?
It hasn't been that long.
I think what, 2? It's got to
Maybe.
be longer than 2 years.
But what happened? Thank you. What happened to her in active competition? Because that was the whole big thing, was her coming in active competition. You know.
Well, she was with the SISM, and that was supposed to be the thing, but I don't know if she, got injured or just like, I ain't got time for this. But I know that was some politics, like, hey, just make her a GM, give her a talking role. There's a little bit of, hey, look out for my girl.
Yeah.
But, do you think she's doing a good job as a GM figure?
Yeah. I mean, of course, she's just a figurehead, but I think she's doing well.
Yeah, I mean, she's making it her own. Her interactions, her backstage presence, I would say now is a lot more GM-y. She kind of reminds me of a female Teddy Long. I don't know if you're getting those vibes, but I'd say she's respected in the back as a GM, and then when she's next to Raw, SmackDown GM, she's not looking out of place anymore.
But here's something funny. You know how long she's been the general manager of the NXT?
What, like what, 2 years?
It hasn't even been that long. January 23rd, 2024, she was promoted to become the new general manager of NXT.
Really? She's only been just coming up on a 1 year?
Yep.
God, has time flown that much to where it just seems like it merges together?
Yep.
Jeez.
You also got to realize what time we're in. We've been in a time loop for 4.5 years now. COVID, man, everything ran together.
Yeah, that's true. And then I guess with the Thunderdome era, it kind of mucked up the waters as well.
Yeah, because it mucked up the waters more because I don't think you ever received a check for that.
I think they're still in their retro pay for COVID situations. I'll probably get that at the next pandemic when they need another idea.
Something they can steal.
I call it gingerly pilfered.
Sometimes
AKA the straight up robbery.
I want to tweet that shit out and just be like, hey, I'm going to say this, but you guys owe the Sideline Junkies Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs a lot of goddamn money. And I just want to say,
job. Or job. We'll take the job. We'll take the job. We're not, beggars can't be choosers.
No.
You will definitely take one or the other. An exclusive interview access. Let us go crazy every week and do our thing.
Yeah.
We can have some fun.
Chop it up with different superstars every Saturday night. And we go off the rails early.
Yep. Just have to tell them this could be good for your career or not. So enter into these hollow WrestleManiac calls on the mothership gingerly. Know what you're getting into, because Lord knows we don't.
Samuel Jackson episode with the New Day.
Yeah, buddy. I don't know if they can handle that. Well, maybe the New Day. Maybe the heel New Day. I think that they could give us a run for our money there. Except for Big E. Did you believe Big E? I mean, I know they were landed on thick, but I wish you would. Maybe we could have some big old crocodile tears coming down there.
Did I believe it? I kind of sort of didn't, but okay. It was just like, Did
it catch you off guard? Were you expecting it?
No. It did catch me off guard, and I was just like, okay. This is crazy. But I said it 2 weeks ago. I said the worst thing WWE can do is change the New Day. You don't break up factions like that, because they could work together and they work separately while they were still a faction.
Right.
And you talk about great tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the Demolitions, the Road Warriors. You know, Magnum TA. I'm sorry, not Magnum TA. Geez, I'm thinking of Magnum TA, but him and Dusty was a great tag team together. But
You forget about one of the other great tag teams, sir?
You think about the Killer Bees.
Yes. The Killer Bees.
You don't see them as singles competitors because I'm not saying it can't be done because Bret Hart went solo and became the face of the company. So don't think it can't happen. It can happen. But you don't take a faction like the New Day and split them up and have them infighting like that. Nah, man.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, it gave me hope because Big E said, hey, when I'm medically cleared, not when my body allows me. When I'm medically cleared, means there's a time limit on it. There's opportunity. Then you're creating this here with the opportunity that something can happen. We can have some transition. We can make something out of this. So I'm like, oh, we could get Big E sooner than later by WrestleMania. Then we could also get some good stuff with this evil New Day. I think it's the land of evil. DIY just went evil. There's some opportunity here. Can you imagine a New Day coming out? Instead of giving out pancakes, they throwing out pancake mix.
DIY should never have been a thing.
What?
Because heavy machinery should have never been broken up.
Oh, Lord. You going all the way back there?
Tell me I'm lying.
You going all the way back there. Now Tucker to retired. Now you bringing up old stuff.
I'm going all the way back there.
Wow. Now, I did like heavy machinery, though. I'm not going to lie. And they were broke up too early. That was a Vince thing.
That should have been just left alone.
But the New Day turning heel, well, correction, Kofi and Xavier, I think something good can come of this. That could give us them versus the Usos again in reverse, with the Usos being face. Interesting.
I like it.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Shoot, Big E could come back as a heel. Really swerve the fans.
Well, remember when Big E first came to WWE, he was a heel.
He was a heel, yeah.
He was fucking AJ Lee. Because to be quite honest, we always talk about people doing their job. Big E was one of those guys that did his job early.
Yep.
When he was with CM Punk, I did not like him. He got on my cotton picking, flipping nerves. But
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. That's what I'll say. Mission freaking accomplished. I'm not mad.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, everything is going to culminate in January. And it's weird to say January is next month.
Yeah.
Gosh darn. It seems like we're talking like future tense, like WrestleMania in April. No, we're talking January.
We're talking
next month. The landscape changes. What are you going to say, KG?
We're talking 25 days from now.
It's like, good grief. Did you see some of what's stacked for WWE for that Raw?
No.
I'm gonna break it down to you. Hey, grab my wife beater and follow along, okay? So first and foremost, they're going to be at the Intuit Dome. That is the start of John Cena's farewell tour. Travis Scott is performing a new intro. Pat McAfee is coming back. Roman Reigns is confirmed for Raw. Heavy rumors of The Rock showing up. And the crowd won't be censored, allegedly, as it stands right now. And more importantly, they are treating this like WrestleMania.
Okay.
And that's so far. We don't even know what else is going to happen. They are going ham. We may have Saudi Arabia level pyro for this one. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but if we're gonna do this Raw with Netflix thing, ugh, I get, you want everything to be nice and shiny and new and all that. Man, if you don't go ahead and take it back to OG shit, and I heard that it's gonna stay PG.
Yep.
What the fuck are we doing here?
I think they just don't want to go ham out the gate. I think they'll probably transition passively, which is a good call. Instead of just coming straight out AEW, everybody saying the F bomb like 40 times in one episode, it loses luster. Like, you cussing too? Well, shit, everybody else did. It's nothing, special about it anymore. Speaking of special, on a side note, I was watching Chris Van Vliet's interview with Jake the Snake Roberts. And one thing that I was corrected on in my assumption, that I thought that Jake would be mad because of how many people are kicking out of the DDT, or how many DDTs are happening, in the course of a match, with all the different variants. Is like, I'm like, I know Jake got to be pissed because, that finish, that iconic finish, is never protected. And Jake was like, I don't care. As long every time that they used the DDT, what's the first thing you think of? Chris was like, you? Exactly. And I'm like, shit, that's genius. Anytime somebody gets tossed off a cage,
You think of
or
man?
a quote unquote cell, the first thing you think of is Mick Foley. And he's
Yeah.
not even wrestling.
Nope.
Genius. Longevity.
And
So just a side note on, when somebody gets the industry and they get the business and they're looking at it in the right perspective, it's not always about, this is the one time I'll say the kayfabe of it. It's about the kayfabe of it, because it's always going to harken back to Jake the Snake Roberts. And then even though he exposed the other truth, DDT does not stand for anything. It is not an acronym for anything.
drop dead twice.
If you want to use that, yeah.
That's what I always heard.
Yeah, he said it does not stand for anything. He just thought that sounded cool and went with it.
Well, that used to be a pesticide, right?
Yeah.
You had the good old pesticide of DDT. I remember we learned about that in elementary school. Oh, that's not a pesticide. That's a wrestling move.
Even back then, you DDT. You know what? As I'm saying that, before there was, somebody taking a shot and yelling Kobe, we were doing the move and saying the name of the move. We were DDT every single time.
Yep.
Every single time. So shout out to Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, I will say this. My finish for WWE 2Ks is the DDT. Period. Excuse me. Jake's version of the DDT. And they do it, it's justice to where, it's as damaging. So I try to at least protect it that way. Speaking of which, I don't know if you also heard the rumor, since we kind of on the side notes here. WWE 2K is allegedly going back in time. So 2025 should be seeing the return of SmackDown versus Raw.
That's what I heard.
That is going to be insanity.
I don't know.
Should be SmackDown versus Raw versus NXT, but I'll take SmackDown versus Raw. But the problem is you can't have Vince's face on the cover. That worlds collide. That's where, you know, when you turn that game on, the first SmackDown versus Raw, and that song came on, you know it was going down.
I still think it should have never stopped being the SmackDown. Because I mean, I think you should have, just like WCW had different games. You had WCW, what was it? NWO versus WCW. You had WCW Thunder, and WCW Thunder was just as good as Thunder itself. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It reminded you of Thunder. Oh, this is a terrible product. But
it was PlayStation, so you know we had to give it some credit. Horrible game, but at least it was like the greatest graphics we ever seen back then.
Yeah, and I tell the kids about that. I said, man, we think this is the greatest daggone game because of the daggone graphics. Now look at the stuff we got now.
Yep.
But I gaming wise, we reached our peak at SmackDown 2. Nothing else can touch those games. Because SmackDown,
Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain was ridiculous. You wasn't feeling that?
I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I'm getting ready to buy it again. I'm going to buy that again, as well as the first two SmackDown. But what they did with SmackDown, the first SmackDown, and then you come back with SmackDown 2, that's when we reached our peak. We reached our peak at SmackDown 2. That was it. That was the greatest right there. You had to earn everything. If you did your finisher, it wasn't about status bars and health bars. No, you had to build up moves to earn your finisher.
Yep.
You couldn't just put in a code and say, I'm gonna do my finisher for off the break and you're done. Nah, because if you got a finisher too early and you used it too early, they were going to kick out.
Yep. And then you had to do it all over again.
Right. Especially somebody that has a double finisher. Like The Rock had a combination. You had to go either spine busted in people's elbow or rock bottom in people's elbow. And if you hit rock bottom in people's elbow, they weren't getting up. There was no kicking out of that.
But still, and it's not even arguably, still the greatest wrestling game of all time, holds up for good old-fashioned No Mercy. What? I will hang up this call right now. You telling me you not believe No Mercy is still the greatest wrestling game of all time?
Legends of Wrestling.
No, over No Mercy?
Yes, all day long.
You crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. Now, I love Legends of Wrestling, but Legends of Wrestling was made using the same engine of No Mercy. It's the same people, just later on down the road. The chain wrestling and No Mercy has not realized itself again yet. Now, last year's, 2K24 was pretty good. I'll give it to them. But to be able to, I could chain wrestle you for an hour consistently and you never get out of it. Simple, but complex. You had to be skillful to be able to reverse something or break it. That game was just ahead of its time. Especially when you were playing Chris Benoit.
That's enough. Ooh, I'll talk to you about that after we're done, man. But I found some things and I was just like, ooh, okay. All right.
Bro, curious as to what that Kevin Sullivan, conversation is supposed to be.
Exactly.
Haven't seen anything about it yet.
You're not going to.
Oh, really? You heard there's a hush hush? There's a cover up?
Oh, they not gonna say that. I think that was just a tease. But I mean, if we gonna talk about it, I heard it was some inconsistencies in the investigation. It was like a lot of stuff that was left out because it was a fourth party in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Because how do you go to the day you killed your wife? Y'all were having a cookout 20 minutes before you killed her, and y'all were laughing and joking and playing with your son, and then 20 minutes later she's dead. If you're gonna kill yourself, are you gonna make plans with somebody before you kill yourself?
Yeah, the conspiracy theories is there. So, it's sad. We'll never know unless the truth comes out. That's pretty much how it is. We'll never know unless the truth comes out.
They'll never let the truth come out.
I think it's too deep into it. But, if it can happen, I would like to at least know one way or the other. This is tragedy no matter which way you slice it.
Yes.
But one thing, we can still agree on is that the character of Chris Benoit is arguably one of the best grapplers and wrestlers and sports entertainers ever. There's no getting around that. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Chris Jericho was on, what was he on? He was on somebody's podcast. And he was talking about one of the greatest matches he had, and it was him and Chris Benoit versus Triple H and Stone Cold when Triple H tore his quad.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what pains me so much is that match doesn't exist anymore because Benoit was in it. He said, but that was probably the greatest match that we ever put on.
Yeah.
And he was like, the way that Triple H he tore his quad and he still kept going. He got he got put in the walls of Jericho after tearing his quad.
Yep.
Come on, man. Great match, but it doesn't exist anymore. And Jericho was like, yeah, that's what bothers me. It just doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot. However, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I think 2025 is the last year that we have Peacock and the WWE in their contract. So 2026, everything could go Netflix. And that'll be a whole separate WWE node, and that stuff could come back.
I don't really think that WWE is going to.
They can't erase them.
No,
because you have to erase a WrestleMania main event, and they can't do that.
Hold on, it's cool to erase. Excuse me, Chris Benoit, but you can't erase Jimmy Superfly Snuka. You're not going to.
Right.
Now I'm gonna ask a question my cousin always used to ask. Were you there? We don't know what happened in that house. Okay, just like you can't say you know what happened with Snuka and his girlfriend that passed away. We don't know. We weren't there. But they don't try to erase Snuka.
They just don't reference him that much anymore. He's just passively just not brought up. Time has erased Snuka for the most part. So they kind of have, but without doing it openly.
But
especially now that Tamina's not there.
Yeah.
Because anytime you see somebody high flying, they're not saying, "Oh, remnants of the Superfly." My favorite wrestler was a Superfly. It's Eddie Guerrero, and other high flyers that are getting the top billing, and rightfully so. Lord knows, but yeah, they're not showing compilations and the best of WrestleManias or this or that or the hey, don't forget to get steel cages, and then they show Superfly jumping off, He's there if you know to look for him. But if you don't know to look for him, he's not there.
I'll tell you this. I don't like the rap that Benoit gets. Not Benoit the person, Benoit the wrestler. I don't
Right.
like the rap he gets because we already knew that Terry Bollea was a piece of shit. But now it's starting to come down that Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit, but nobody's giving him any funk about that.
No.
And yeah,
I still keep Hogan separate. And I guess that's maybe I have to put the other stamp on it. 80s Hogan separate. You know, as the Hogan that is just a pure character. But anything above that, you know, yeah, there's some turmoil. Even in the NWO era. You know, there's some contention there. But 80s Hogan, we talking, you know, prime prayers and vitamins and the Hulk Hogan cartoon and Hogan versus Roddy Piper and all that stuff, that level, you know, having a lunchbox and all that stuff. Yeah.
you can talk about.
Got to protect that one.
I'll give you that. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it.
I know you got some strong heat with Terry.
Yeah, because I mean, I try not to go a week without calling him a piece of shit. Because he showed me that. He showed me that that's not the same dude that was so inspiring when I was younger. He's a piece of shit. So.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to wrap up. Last thing I wanted to plug and say congratulations to is Julia for becoming this year's Women's Iron Survivor, bringing it full circle back to Deadline. Good match, you know. It was interesting. You could kind of still see, I guess, if you were looking at it in the right lenses, you know, the setup for the timing of, you know, when you know, pinfalls were going to happen and stuff like that. I guess maybe that's the curse of getting older. So I shuddered. I wonder if I could go back and watch WrestleMania 12 without clocking it in my head where falls should happen. But then again, I would just watch WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match between Shawn and Bret Hart, just to watch it. That's still, you know, one of the most emotional matches pre Flair versus Shawn that I've ever seen in my life. That journey, you know, all the way down to where it was announced, you know, that match must continue. Can't beat that. Can't beat that.
You can't.
I don't know if we could even get close to that in the modern era. Who could go for an hour and emotionally take you through a journey like that currently? I don't think Cody could do it. No disrespect to Cody, but honestly, I think it would be the women's side that would be able to pull that off. The closest that we had was Bayley and Sasha Banks. That was pretty close. But I think, honestly, now if I had to watch an Iron Woman match, it would definitely be Bianca Belair and Naomi, or Naomi and Jade Cargill.
Naomi and Jade Cargill, I'll give you that. I'm just America's. Let me rephrase that. The world's attention span is not that big, and it's not that long. To sit there for a 60-minute Iron Man or Iron Woman match, not happening. I'm sorry.
As I'm thinking about it, I don't think it was 60 minutes. I think it was 30 minutes or something. But I think Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa had an Iron Man match back at a takeover. That was a good one. So I have to apologize. That's a men's recent. I want to say it was an Iron Man match. But, you know, that's where I was like, man, Gargano is probably going to die in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Those spots, we talked about it many moons ago on the show. Those spots were like, yo, you know, busted the man lip. He dehydrated. You know, everything was just happening. Like, Gargano, man, just stay down. Stay down. This is disrespectful now. but it was a phenomenal match. I can't remember which takeover that was. It may have been Brooklyn, one of the Brooklyns, Brooklyn 1 maybe. I have to go look that up. But either way, if you haven't seen that match, watch it. That's the closest that I'd ever seen to Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero Halloween Havoc. That's the closest to that I've ever seen. And I was live for that Halloween Havoc. That was in B-More. So good times. KG, wrap this shit up.
Wrapping this shit up. Because we come back at shit tomorrow morning with the Sunday Rise NFL Week 14. It'll be the Midnight Rider, the Gentleman Jack, and myself rocking this thing out, giving you the nickel tomorrow, as well as some college football roundup, throwing out some love to Army, as well as a couple of other conference champions. I know Georgia won the SEC championship today. I got to look around the country to see who won their the conference championships, but we will be talking about that, as well as what everybody's eating on a beautiful Sunday. So tune in for that tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Get yourself up, get in here with the Sideline Junkies.
That's right. And then again, if you would like to be on the show, we got an open standing opportunity with the Passenger Seat podcast with the Gentleman Jack and the Midnight Rider. So they can swing by, pick you up, slide you into that passenger seat, and give you the opportunity to talk about your life story or just what excites you about sports. So if you wanted to join us on one of our shows, the Passenger Seat has an open casting call looking for you to come in and just go crazy just like we do. So, KG, I think it's time to wrap it up, B. Let these people back to their regular scheduled program.
Yes, indeed. So I guess I got to fill in for the Nubian Sumo, huh?
Yeah. If I tell them to diversify their bonds.
I guess I'll just say konnichiwa, bitches.